Yep.
So smart move coming from Omega.
Yeah, it's a hero that just breaks the rules of traditional MOBA, right? Like a marksman of this caliber should have a weak early game, but Brody has no such thing. Brody just marks people and is able to burst you down like what 3 or 4 auto attacks in. It's ridiculous.
It just melts you like butter, and whoa. Okay, I believe that's a Lapu Lapu. Is that right?
It is arguably one of the winners of a patch that came down maybe a month or 2 ago, and he has been owning the offlane. He has been taking people down, whether it's from the EXP lane or from the gold lane. This hero right here is just a damage-dealing machine. I put him in the same category as 2 other heroes. I put him in the same, what do you say, bunch as Benedetta and Lancelot.
Oh,
Benedetta just has more utility, and Lancelot just has more mobility and damage. Lapu Lapu kind of like puts those 2 worlds together.
Yeah, and he definitely is that sort of bully that you don't want to be messing with, especially that he could possibly outlast many other fighters out there, or even some say tanks. Now, we do have the very first pick coming in for Omega Esports, and that's going to be the Jawhead being picked up here from Heath.
All right, you know what? I like this Jawhead, given that, yes, it's an okay tank these days. Maybe only second to a Kai, but Jawhead here is going to be key to exploiting one of those weaknesses or those keys to victory for any team facing off against Todak.
That's right.
It's choking out Chiku's buffs.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely going to be really much of a big concern, especially if he can actually get those ejectors off on the right target. Oh boy, definitely Todak will be running for their life, but Moontier is looking for pickoffs as he does secure a Selena on hand. And well, we do have the Khalid.
That's going to be possibly on Stu in the XP lane, but could also be a flex for tank. I do like me some Khalid tank. That Quicksand Guard is, for the lack of a better term, broken.
Yeah.
Besides CC, he can just stand there and peel.
That's right. Like he could just peel, and as well as you know, taking some hits and still be pretty much okay. He could just use his ult to, you know, dash away with that sand wave, you know?
Yeah. The Rampaging Sandstorm is both an engagement tool and a disengagement tool, and the fact that it's AoE stun is just beyond me. Now we're waiting for 2 more picks here from Omega Esports, and Contra! Did you notice the Benedetta was not banned at all? So Benedetta is opened up, going over, I believe, in the XP lane for Curtizi, and Hajizi gets the Yusun Shin, which, by the way, does not expose. It's not an all-in choice. It can be good at any point in the game, given that you have the ultimate that opens up the map.
That's right, and I really do think that with Curtizi here, having that Benedetta as well, this is definitely going to be a really good sort of way for them to actually get in and out of the fight as well. So I would really wonder on how that lane is going to be played out in that sort of sense. Is it going to be that Khalid versus this Benedetta that will possibly be holding in towards the early game? And with that, do you actually favor the Benedetta or perhaps the Khalid?
That's the thing, is the Khalid can go forever, but the Benedetta has just on a higher uptime. Like, without Rampaging Sandstorm, Stu is just better off staying in his lane, right? But Benedetta can just call it quits. Curtizi can just call it and say, you know what, I'm done here. Like, I'm not getting anything from you. This lane is effectively dead, so I'm going to go ahead and visit mid. Let's see what Hajizi's up to. So I think that's what's going to happen. But right now, going into the second phase of banning, we're waiting on Todak. What else is missing from Omega Esports? They need a mid laner, and there's one taken out, Luoyi.
Oh man, Luoyi definitely is going to be pretty much of a disruption, especially when you could just teleport away with the ultimate in that sort of sense. So with that being removed, they definitely would have actually have less of worries, but Link being banned away is definitely going to be a really interesting ban, because Omega Esports, do correct me if I'm wrong, but they do use Link for themselves too. But if they were to be getting that Link for themselves, it will be pretty much of a greedy pick, knowing that Todak now does have the priority.
Yep. And I think there will be no room for the Ling, given that Yusun Shin is already here, unless this is a side lane Yusun Shin. Gold lane Yusun Shin is not unheard of, not impossible, but
Pretty much.
I think that, yeah, it is a little too tight, it is a little too tight.
Yeah.
So yeah, they take out the link themselves. While on the other hand, last ban for Todak is going to be the Farsa. I think they are just on a one-track mind right now. Yelly Haze, you're not going to get any of these good mid-heroes.
Yeah, I definitely think that Farsa is a very safe way to go for Todak. They already have a very clear mind of what they want. They want to force them in towards the corner or just going for the pickups. You can see every single one of the heroes that Todak has picked right here is capable of a very easy dive. So they can all move in together, have that sort of mobility to just get back out as well. And if they keep going in for those pickup, I think that Omega Esports might be bleeding out if they were to be punished for it.
Yep, this is essentially MOBA fundamentals. It's the battle of yin and yang. It's the dive comp versus the poke comp, and we're here seeing them complete both their puzzles. 2 more picks per side, and we have Todak going for 1 more here. They're lacking a solid tank. I wonder what E1 has left in the tank. Get it? He's the tank player.
Yeah, I'm pretty much getting it right in. So, you know, back in the days when Grok used to be a thing, he was one of the best Grok players around. But now that that's off the table, maybe a Boxia or who knows, Gacha could even be working in a certain way. But I'm not even sure if that's the case. But okay, and we are going to be getting Formation with the Cho. Tank Cho? Possible?
Or another side laner, right? This is the Todak formula. Still a strong believer in the 1-3-1, which, by the way, I still believe is just as impressive. Still efficient. I mean, the whole XP lane and gold lane from Project Next should not have killed the strategy. If anything, it made it better.
Oh, indeed. And, you know, it would be even more interesting if all of them actually go on, like, a full offense build and just try to go all in on this one. But of course, somebody's got to neutralize it at one point, and Ruby's gonna be coming into the picture alongside with an Eudora. So let's talk through this, all right? So I definitely think that there's a whole lot of crowd control coming in from Omega Esports to actually suppress all these sort of firepower coming in from the side of Todak. But the answer with the Akai.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe this is the best tank in the game right now. Given how outplays are all the more possible, you have a solid body, and the damage output, it's not nothing. So yeah, this is going to be Tank Akai, 2 side laners in Cho and Khalid for Todak. While Omega Esports, you did mention they have a solid amount of CC, and I do understand it's more of just targeted CC. It's single point and click precision CC coming in from Omega Esports. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's just a matter of time. We're loading into the land of Dawn. Omega Esports versus Todak. The Philippines versus Malaysia. Again, Contra, this is going to set the pace for the rest of M2. Not just the group stages, but even into the playoffs. Because 2 series per day, we're basically halfway through the first.
That's right. And now, of course, have a glimpse to your favorite players on deck. Of course, you got Moon, always with his slick hair, and they are pretty much unfazed. We're going to be going in towards our very first game in a real short bit, and here we go. And towards the land of Dawn for Game 1 in the M2 World Championship of Mobile Legends BangBang. Over right here with me, casting alongside, is definitely going to be Leo Gaming, and I'm Contra. And we will not forget to thank Singtel, our partners in esports, to unlock lag-free and ultra-fast gaming experience with Singapore's fastest 5G network. Keep calling and get the edge you need on your road to Mystic and mlbb with Singtel.
Oh, look at this. Heat starting it up strong. Again, this is going to be key. You got to bother Chiku. You got to take away these purples, these oranges, and the Serpent still alive. Maybe a third of health left. Heath is just working his mask. He's saying, you know what, this is a non-starter. Could not get it.
Oh, he actually dives in a little bit late to the scene, and it might just be punished. He's already used his flicker as well. He needs to get out of this, and I believe that that chunk of health left, he's got to back away.
Oh, Curtizi super aggressive up top, cutting the lane already. I do believe this is maybe just the 2nd or 3rd wave. Oh, the duel! It's happening! Maze already goes in for the flicker. That's out. Curtizi looking for a dash. Can he find him in the bush? Oh, he gets it!
Whoa!
That's first blood for Omega Esports.
Just look at that blow, and Curtsy still at it once again, and E1 tries to finish him off, and he managed to make it out.
What?
Absolutely insane. Omega Esports not only got the first blood, but he makes it out alive.
with relative impunity. Not the team, but the fact that he was not punished at all. That was a big 3-man rotation sent in by Todak. And in mid, that's going to be Moon being hit by the Mountain Shocker. Survives with just a sliver of health as well.
Yeah, and I am definitely excited to see what goes up next. A lot of all these flickers have already popped up from the side of Todak, and they are forced to play passive all the way. Now, Kenji is also controlling his lane relatively well, so if they were to choose to roam, definitely could be great.
Now, looking at this, we got it all wrong during the draft, I must admit.
Yeah.
It's actually the Ruby and the Khalid, and then the Benedetta and the Cho facing off. Now, Heath just checking the bush, seeing who wants in. E1 goes for the bite, now starting this very first turtle. Again, we talked about this in the pre-game discussion. Counters and timers are just way up. That's the first turtle going over to Omega.
Yeah, and Omega Esports, like we said, one as they managed to really rake in on the goal. They're already 1K ahead, and he forces E1 to back away. He has to find a different angle to perhaps give a little bit of support heading down towards the bottom side. But oh, Yelly Haze is going to be having some danger right here.
Ooh, there's a Mountain Shocker alongside the ejector. Oh, they're going to go for the neck, and Moon goes down. E1 survives. Not much he could do to help out his mid laner, and now Chiku, BMI out, goes for the duel. That's going to be the blazing duet. Oh, it's not a duel if it's a 2v1 and he's out.
Yeah, he knows he's got no business there being a 2v1, and all he can do is just get as much of those creeps as possible. And now Kenji possibly will be just, you know, doing what he can just to sustain, and Stu will just be quite an annoyance to deal with.
Yeah, Contra, let me make a quick prediction here, and let's say a call. Hold up before that. Nice ejector, 3-man rotation. Not much Stu could have done. I was going to say, if that didn't happen and these two side laners here, top and bottom, just continue doing what they did, it would be a slow crawl win for Omega. It's because they're winning these side lanes, right? But then Heath comes in with the massive rotation.
Indeed, and you just see that Todak just haven't seemed to find a way to respond to this at all. This is not what they're used to in the early game, and it's really costing them a lot. Now, you can see 3-0, but all they have to do is just to hold on and eventually look for that mid-game fight. But oh, Wave Dragon in towards the mid side. As you can see, Moon dies in as well. Yeah, Lee Hayes gets caught out, and it's gonna be Eve. They'll be forcing the flicker out of 4 maze, and he finally pops that away.
Nice Hurricane Dance to save himself. Heath and Hajizi, there's not enough damage between the both of them, so even E1 gets away, even Moon survives. Now, real quick, big fight in the river. There's the Rampaging Sandstorm. Stu gets one. Down goes Hajizi. The machine needs some maintenance.
Oh, man. Speaking of the machine here, he's going to be flipping Moon over like a burger patty, and man, he definitely doesn't want any of that sort of pressure going on. He's going to be backing away, but fixing back down and towards the bottom side of the map, we do see Kenji just enjoying his time over on the bottom side after getting that one pick off. And of course, that might just happen again to that Khalid if he's not careful enough. But over the KZ side, the 1v1 is commencing.
I love it. How top lane here is all about just the mechanically skilled heroes. It's just, yeah, the Shunpos and just the dashes on the Cho versus the parries coming in from Cortese, and the dashes is infinite, right? But right now, look at this. Kenji, with the help of Hajizi, of course, off camera. That's going to be the Mount Shocker checking him out. Ooh, trap set in. Quick take on the turtle first for a good fight. Here we go, charging it up. Let's see what happens. Blazing Duet out. Chico, I love how he's so disciplined.
Towards that trigger at the moment, and Formace is just getting as much vision as he can. Just looking at the itemization right now, we do have Stu already having half the season. Oh, it's gonna be Eve that will be able to pull E1 right in, and that is definitely quite a worrisome affair. But well, we do have the Demon Hunter Sword out as well for the side of Chiku, so that's gonna be great.
Yep, but right now there's a top lane fight here extending into the river. E1 just hops out, 1,000-pounder to save himself. Oh, there's a flicker and an arrow for good measure by Moon, saving his teammate, and that's going to be another failed engage. Okay, so the first 5 minutes were relatively action-packed, and I think these two teams now respect each other a little more. Now May's looking for an engagement, and he backs out. Arrow finds no target. Blazing Duet by Chiku, going 1v1 against Kenji. Yeah, I don't think Kenji should pick this fight. He'd get kited.
Yeah, definitely he has already had a lot of his HP down, but he gets back up, quickly regens, and all the way back in. Stu is going to be engaging right here with the Sandstorm, and this 1v1 is not looking in favor of the side of Kenji. He opts out with the flicker.
That's going to be a fight that he does not want to pick up. And, ooh, Maze already picking up the Blade of Despair. He means business. But now, that is a Hurricane Dance that E1 regrets. And there's an ejector on the Chiku, the jungle player for Todak. And there's some revenge on. They survive!
I don't understand. They went in 1-by-1 and easily give up the mid lane tower. And Omega Esports just
now they're gonna rotation in.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's not even worth it for them to really dive in towards the side of Heath. Like, what do you actually get by just shutting down a jaw hit? Absolutely nothing. Again, and you can just see Heath is just in every single one of these team fights.
And already Mr. Fundamentals, as some folks would like to call him, sitting at 1-0-5. And here's the thing, Contra, do note, he is playing with Pull Yourself Together, so you kill him, he comes back all the sooner. He doesn't care.
That's right, Leo. Like, all you have to focus on is all these certain hyper carries coming out online. And oh, one more injector all the way to the back. They cast the Selena, and Moon is out of the picture right now. Omega 8-3.
Wow, Moon was just thinking like about what he's gonna have for lunch, and he's like, hold up, there's 3 members of Omega on me. I was not planning for that, and I think Todak, they were thinking maybe a step ahead, and they were like about to rotate, but it was just too late. Again, the fact that Yelia is here, has the Eudora, means he's playing for the neck. He's playing for keeps, and there's another one. Ejector into the back. E1 goes for the Hurricane Dance. They just need one more hit, and oh, not enough Smart Missiles to finish the job, and there's a hook in by Kenji. Going for the finish is Hajizi. That's a double. Moon goes down finally, and another turret.
Well, what can I say? It's just a straight-up stomp right now where you could just see Heath outright bullying this Akai. Every single time he sees that panda's gonna go extinct, and seems like there's gonna be another one biting the dust. And once more, E1 goes down.
Ooh, Stu tried to help. I see that. Stu tried to help. Goes in with the Rampaging Sandstorm. I'll stun him. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's not enough. He survives. He goes back in. And I think Quick Sand Guard would have been a little too dangerous, given that Yelly Haze was there as well. Could have gone for the stun, stop the shenanigans. And right now, the map is looking mad blue, Contra. It's looking mad blue. And Omega Esports, this is what they're good at. Again, they know the steps between A, B, and C. You take them to like maybe J and K, things get a little shady, but it's not gonna happen because they get another one. Stu goes down in mid. Kenji gets caught out. Oh, he hooks him in! He hooks him in! They despair! They I'm sorry. I'm losing my words. It's because it's just too crazy. What was that? The flicker and hook? The flicker and hook?
Wow! We gotta catch a replay if we can, because that was absolute beauty. I've lost for words, but you know what? Go ahead, take the Lord. I think Todak is pretty much done for now.
That was ridiculous. That was, what, 3 people underneath the turret. He goes for the hook, flickers away, feeds Chico and the rest into the rest of Omega Esports. That's the wrong team, but you know what I'm saying? Like, these stickers, okay. Yeah, they're in other groups, but wow, Omega Esports sitting at 14-3.
That's right, and maybe they're sending signals to say, hey, Alter Ego, are you watching this? Like, we're coming after you next.
Evos SG, check it out.
Oh yeah, and the list goes on. I wonder how many more stickers do we see, because early on we saw Moon pop up that M1 sticker, but yep, this Hurricane Down is going to be setting up, and they might just actually get Heath right across, but he is in safety. Stu gets caught out instead, and Curtizi looking for blood, hunting for Chiku as well as Moon. He's already inside of the enemy's base.
What?
And he doesn't care. Drop that missile arrow as much as you may. I will take out your inhibitor turret on the top lane.
He caught it with much gusto. He's like, I'll take it. Don't give it to Hajizi. I'll take it. Now Chico running for his life in his own base. This is not a good spot to be if you are Todak. And it looks like they're just focusing on the base right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just 11 minutes and 15 seconds in. Mid lane gonna be onto E1. And ladies and gentlemen, it's just a matter of time. That's gonna be game 1 going over to Omega Esports.
And now the Philippines will top the groups at the moment. because this is just 1 out of 3 games in this best of 3 format. So we still got perhaps 2 more to go.
Yep. This is, what, a 12-minute game? Maybe even under. And, I don't know. Todak, they had a solid draft. And in the first maybe 6 or 7 minutes, it looked like Chiku had it going still. But, man, at every single front, it seems like Omega Esports knew exactly what to do. Again, to go from point A, B, and C. We'll hear more about this. Ladies and gentlemen, we would also like to thank become the champion of M2 has been perfected with the latest Tumi luggage and backpack. You can bring your gear anywhere with you safely. Your own journey and enjoy the M2 competition.
That's right. Of course, players have been traveling all across the globe for this grand event, and with that, they could definitely have their luggages all secured with Tumi. And not forgetting, we've been here for a while. We've gone through quarantine, and to keep our players safe and protected, M2 has partnered with SUTL to ensure the event venue has been coated with SD Pro, an antimicrobial self-disinfecting coating that eliminates bacteria and viruses 24/7 for a... Yeah, you can definitely say that this whole place here is all safe. And with that, to find out more about what offers, visit sdsf.com. And, well, yeah, fans have something to say, right?
Yep. You guys are more... me right? This is my job. I do this for a living, but I've been losing my words ever since that one last crazy fight underneath the...
It's going to be another eye-watching LaFell that will be breaking down some... Definitely excited to see what will be happening in Game 2, but before that, let's pass it over to our dear analyst. It's LaFell that will be bringing you the entirety of the breakdown.
Hello, thank you. You guys are watching the analyst segment with me, where we'll be breaking down the game between Todak and Omega, where, in my personal opinion, there's actually a lot of layers that we have to break down. So I'm gonna break it down real quick. Number one is the draft. Even though I completely agree, where they're just covering all of their bases, just banning out all of the good. They're really aiming for the side lanes, the Esmeralda, the Yuzong, and then later on, the second phase of the bans, they mid lane. Side lane matchup as well as a mid lane matchup. And in this game, on where the first fight between Courtesy as well for me, win or lose, he will always go for that 1v1. He will always try to get something going, even if that means that he's gonna die. Unfortunately for him, the matchup between Cho as well as the Benedetta with the eye for an eye, canceling out the crowd control as well as initiating the stun back onto Cho, wins him that 1v1, and then it kinda triggers every single thing happening throughout the match, where unfortunately Team Toda, I agree with Leo, where Chiku really looked like he could have been that guy that brings out the real Toda back into the game. However, but right now, let's look at the itemization teams. And right now, let's look at Yelly Hayes with win for Omega Esports, because as you guys can see, he already has the Lightning Transient and he is on the way of creating his Holy Crystal. And once Eudora gets that amazing burst from its ultimate, Chiku will not really have a chance to go forward and do anything. Like, as long as Yelly Hayes is not targeted any kind of safe distance. At the moment, Chiku or the Claude goes in with the Blazing Duet, will get down team fight. The pick and ban phase with the Eudora pick. Omega Esports, in my opinion, they have won the draft. But either way, this is the first. One more game to go where either Omega will secure 2 points or Todak can push us to a third game. Chiku, unfortunately, even though he already finished his Demon Sword as well as the Golden Staff, which is the core items for Claude. In the mid lane, Iwan made a crucial mistake and then brought everyone else with him, where he went into the bush. Todak, they should have backed off. They realized their tank is gone. Their main source of crowd control is not there. They might as well just back. But right now, let's look at the guy that made it all happen. Let's look at the MVP of Omega Esports, which will be going to Heath. Look at the KDA, 1011. He's looking really good as Mr. Fundamental. Not really making any mistakes. He knows what he has to do. Go in front and then pull someone back. Especially the after Ruby with the I'm offended, pulling Stu out of his turret and then ejector, and then after that ejector after ejector, forcing Team Todak to be away from the team, or better yet, forcing them to be out of position, giving the kills over to his team, only securing 1 kill for himself. So congratulations to Heath for getting the MVP of the first. But again, this is just the opening series. We have more games after this, but here, perhaps nervous, not that comfortable with the Akai. Even though Chiku looked really solid on his Claude, the Akai didn't do well. The Cho losing out the 1v1, as well as the Selena not really making any kind of aggressive plays. He mainly stayed in the mid lane, not much rotations to the side lanes, but to be fair, with the advantage that Omega has. And as Leo stated, Team Omega Esports, they are very disciplined. And the thing about disciplined teams, whenever they have an advantage, they hold that advantage. They make sure that the enemy will have very little chances of coming back. But anyway, that's it for me. Right now we'll be going to the second match, so back to the casters.
Thank you so much, LaFell. Once more, our analyst back in the caster's desk. My name is Leo, joined here by Concha, and we would like to all welcome you back to game number 2. Special thanks to our sponsor, by the way, Secret Lab, the award-winning gaming seats engineered for long hours of comfort and sitting form. Available in the Secret Lab official store and in major e-commerce in Singapore, or you can just visit secretlab.co. All right, that's 1 game down, and possibly 2 more coming, if ever.
Possible, definitely possible in every sort of a respect. But of course, before we forget, of course, we'd like to thank Singtel, as well as, of course, we would also like to thank PvP Esports, our partners in esports, to turn your competitive gaming dreams into reality where gaming lives. PvP Esports is Southeast Asia's one-stop platform for amateur and professional gamers alike. So make sure you guys check that out. So with that being said, you guys can also unlock your front row seats to the 5G future with Singtel, Singapore's fastest 5G network. To follow us on Singtel, or whether it's on Instagram, make sure you guys do so.
So we are about to lock into game number 2 here, and I don't think there's a bone in me that disagrees with LaFell awarding MVP to the Jawhead, to Heath.
It has to be. Like, you just look at this Jawhead, he's absolutely everywhere. Like we were talking about, hey, Akai is possibly the best tank in the current meta. And, well, the best tank looked like it was the worst tank in game 1 because Heath actually bullied him out where the Akai could hardly even get in for those perfect Hurricane dances.
Yep, of the 4 or 5 maybe solid Hurricane dances we saw, maybe just 1 or 2 of them were aggressive. The rest were just running away from this mad Jawhead. It was ridiculous. This Jawhead started the game possibly in the best place possible. That is trying to take away the buffs from Chiku, right? But we'll talk more about that right before the draft begins. We're a minute away from the game. But for now, we were pleased to announce the launch of the new anniversary season of Magic Chess, Blazing Hammer. The new adventure will officially begin on January 30. New upgrading system, blessing, new little commander and map, all synergies revamped, and a free trial of advanced skins await you. And of course, we all invite you to log in on January 30th to claim your free permanent skin. We're calling this Battle Night.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna be having some great battles across. So, free permanent skin, what's not to like? And I'm pretty sure there's a whole lot of Cho users all across the globe that will be able to enjoy this. So with that, game number 2 is going to be up next. So after seeing what came in, that early level Benedetta really was a big problem.
You're right. You're right. MVP Jawhead, but there is also a big onus to get rid of the Benedetta.
Yeah, and not only that, I felt like there's so many threats coming from all angles, but of course, in this sort of way, because
except for that one time.
That one time where that set up towards Khalid, it really feels bad because it was just by the edges right there that he managed to just land it perfectly. And wow, from that moment on, they know the first tier turrets all will just be handed over to Omega.
Yeah, and again, it's an A, B, and it's not in the draft. The draft is about to begin, ladies and gentlemen. Todak in the play, Omega answer. But they had a solid draft, Todak did, but it's in the gameplay.
Exactly, and when we talk about the gameplay here, of course, Todak really has to move more proactively across the game, allowed to do that. Started off with Heath trying to hijack on towards the buff side of things, and they immediately know, okay, they're starting on the purple side, so perhaps later on they can just easily set up the pressure on towards the other opposing lane. Now, back towards being banned away, Natalia as well. Pretty much similar to what we saw back in Game 1, if you ask me.
Yeah, these are literally the same heroes taken out. I wonder at what point Game 2 is going to change, because if it's literally the same thing, then we can expect the same results, right? And
exactly.
So far, that's another hero from Game 1 banned out.
Yeah, and the only difference that we do have here is Todak's going to be opening with the first pick.
For sure.
Maybe a little bit of a stealing of hero pools from the opposing side of Game 1 might just happen right here because, you know, they absolutely forgot about the Benedetta. But whoever forgets about the Brody right here is going to be losing. Actually, to take that Brody ban again.
I hope it's not a matter of forgetting to ban a hero, right? Because how crazy is that? That you lost because, oh, we forgot the hero. I'm pretty sure it was on top of their minds as well. It's just, we did not expect it to be that potent, right? There's a new ban right there, man. Todak taking out the Cho. And of course, Omega Esports still sticking to their guns. We don't want no Brody.
Yeah, indeed. And with that, I honestly don't feel like the Cho was the biggest of threats, but of course it was crucial for the side of Omega Esports to really go in to shutbow his way to the setups, but they are still prioritizing a first pick on the Selena. I'm not too certain if the second time's the charm, but hey, if it works, yeah, I guess it works.
They want Moon to be ready. I think that's what it is, right? Picking up a Selena early game ensures that you have good vision and you have maximum range to engage. And that's up to you. That's great for Todak, but you're right. I'm not so sure if that's what they need right now, especially that their first pick and now Omega. Man, as the mantra goes, don't fix what's now broken.
Yeah, and I really want to see if it's going to be exactly the same because I'm seeing Jahid, I'm seeing the Yi Shun Shin again. Now, going in, this is what I talked about. wants to.
As lapu-lapu. So essentially, it's being spelled out right here, Contra. This is essentially saying we want our ones in the 1-3-1 to be the strongest there can be. So Benedetta.
Lapu-Lapu could possibly hold out his lane really, really well and still put in that sort of pressure. So I guess Todak feels a lot more confident with this sort of. So Formace now with the pressure to perform as compared to what we saw early on where Cortese was an absolute beast.
Ooh, speaking of Cortese, they go ahead and round out their first phase of picks with a side lane 1-1. I prefer the 1-1 in the side lane. I'm pretty sure a lot of teams do as well. So now going into the phase of banning, they get rid of the possible predators to the prey. That is the soft marksman. That's going to be the link taken out for Omega. What is left for Chiku, though? I feel I can smell a Lancelot ban coming up soon.
Hey, there's still a plethora of things that they really have to consider. Like, honestly, they possibly.
No, dude. Again, I told you that one moment underneath that second tier mid lane turret, that was a thing of magic. I'm pretty sure when Kenji retires, whatever day that comes in, this is gonna be one of those highlights.
Yeah, and I think right now with that target ban, like he knows, okay, Kenji's the last pick right now, so we're gonna be limiting some of these sort of pull. But hey, I felt like Todak here is just having a little bit of knee-jerk effect. Like you got hit once and you
Very
know
reactive.
Yeah.
Very reactive. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that Kenji has a lot of other plans, but now that it's being disrupted a little bit, Omega Esports have taken the time to think, and what's that final ban gonna be like?
Oh, I see. All right. So instead of just going all in on no Lancelot, no Ling, they're going, all right, no Ling, no Harith. Ah, I see. Harith might be a better, a worse foil to a 1-1, given how mobile this little white-haired boy is, despite being, for years on end now, being such a menace in Mobile Legends.
Indeed, and no matter how many nerfs you throw to him, he's still pretty much relevant to the scene, and, well, definitely have a heart in the most regions itself. So, last, them really playing out an insane.
Dude.
So, are we calling in for? He did receive that M2 skin buff in a way. We are going to be having our final two picks for both respective teams, and that starts off with Omega here. As either they have to steal away some of all these priority, well, could I say priority mages right here? Because yeah, they really do have most of the stuff that they need already.
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of stealing. Is because Todak, again, they, how do you say, spent their mage pick already on the Selena, which I think opens it up for Omega Esports. Thinking about priorities in a different order, and I think so far it's going well for Omega Esports because it's open for them, and there you go. Kenji says, hey man, give it to me first, let me get my hero first, and they get the Tams, which by the way is in not in any threat of being stolen away because they don't need it. So there's a nice win though.
Oh boy,
this other little boy, he's been on the up and up.
Okay. Well, so
Jungle Harley though. I think it's a Jungle Harley.
I think so too.
Oh.
This is honestly extremely exciting. Well, we talked to a few people, some coaches and analysts as well, that this is an up-and-coming pick that people should be looking out for. For what reason? Well, of course, great mobility, great burst, as well as, well, making a great escape. But now, completing that draft, we are seeing a Tigro, are we?
Yeah, but that's going to be on E1 right here, this handsome man on screen, which interacts very well with Jawhead. The first time I saw this, I have to admit, was at the MPLI. When people started picking up Tigreal, I'm like, why are y'all playing Tigreal? It's because you ejector him and he likes it. He's saying, thank you, implosion.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
by have one small advantage. They can cover up, they can clean up any weaknesses, shore up any vulnerabilities in their lineup to try and counter what Todak brought onto the table. draft. I do like what Todak brings here.
Yeah, but on the side of Omega as well, game phase with a breeze, then they will have not much of a problem. Okay, Yelly Haze is coming right back at it again. So, what do you think of the draft here being responded?
Unorthodox, extremely unconventional. The last time I saw Omega play Sylvana, it was on Heath, and it was more of the tank Sylvana, let's just call it that, tank support Sylvana, wherein she uses Imperial Justice to pin someone down and burst him. This way, it seems to be a more of mage Sylvana. I'm wondering now how Omega will execute this, how they will perform. Finessing in that Harley, chef's kiss.
Oh man, a lot more kisses will be flying up in the air. These players some love here. Of course, support your favorite teams throughout the entirety of the M2 World Championship run. Now, Todak has already suffered a deficit in terms of, you know, the points. You can see we're now focused on winning this up game 2 as and now with Todak switching over to the blue side, things are going to be getting more interesting. And Eve the same back.
Yep, this is just what Heath does. Missed the fundamental, back at it again, clocking in 30 seconds. He's saying right, he did.
And annoying to be playing a game, but he is trying to find a little bit of a sweet escape. Not going to be too much of a problem, but oh,
that's going to be a push onto Heath. Curtizi trying to get a few beads onto E1, misses one weak spot to fully unlock. Well, no ults yet, but it is. So making
going at it again, and oh, what a setup coming from E1. This time he replies, he responds, and Yelly Haze might just be first blood, but he survives!
What? Enough sustainability onto Yelly Haze to spare Omega Esports, surrendering that first blood. Stu, I wonder what Stu was up to.
Oh boy. Yeah, like, that's not supposed to happen in these early level trades. In fact, like, he's going to be losing some sort of the pressure up on his lane for the moment, but crap, he's going to be forcing his way out, and for Mace, getting some pokes.
All right. Given that Todak's lineup, as we said, is a little more well-rounded, scaling, we got to give up to Omega Esports.
Indeed. And, I guess the longer this game takes, it's going to be taking more. Oh! Todak takes in for that first blood. Ooh. And Chico will fall right up. Just poking in for the next one being focused by Todak.
Oh, Kurt. Be a trade left and right. It's violence all over the Land of Dawn in this early stages of game number 2. 2 for 2 so far, not even 2 minutes 30 seconds in, and I do believe Todak, they wish they had it.
Indeed, and oh, there's gonna be a little bit of pause, so we can definitely talk through. Yes, Todak did get the first blood in that sort of instance, but of course, having and like you said, Chiku went down. Like that is definitely, you know, he's gonna suffer a slight deficit at this sort of moment, but Todak definitely responded well in such a way that they learned from game 1 and they understand that Omega really wants to go in for the contest for the early turtle. So this is how they actually adapted really well.
Yep, I think they understood that this team right here, Omega Esports, they want every single turtle, and they met. It was a duel. It's one of those old school conference. Drawing first blood, he set up the traps all over the turtle pit already, and I guess the best thing that they could have done was go for a positive trade, but again, looking at the current standings, ladies and gentlemen, to lose out on Formies, which I believe was the worst possible trade.
Yeah, and of course, the Yushin Shin also got that kill in hand.
Got one, yeah.
So he's going to be having himself amped up with that one kill on the back end. I would say that what I really like seeing from both sides is where when they initiate on towards the buff skill attempts. Of course, he does look better as compared to E1. Well, Tigreal on the early levels, if you expended your skills, you're going to be walking pretty slowly. So he has to force that flicker away. But they have thought that, okay, we got this tank out of the way, but he kept coming back.
Yeah.
So they also managed to burn a little bit more of those sort of the spell resources at that point. But
good point, and point taken. That is one death, both on Formaze and Chiku. But yeah, let's consider there's quite a bit of from Omega. So maybe in this first turtle, like, we're gonna make this really hard for you, so the next one that comes up is all the more harder. And I think this is what we would like to call slowing down the power spike. I do believe at around maybe 11 to 12 minutes, if Omega Esports have not been hindered, not put down deep enough, then these two marksmen, the 1-1 and the Hajizis, Yusun Shin, they're just gonna start doing whatever they want.
exactly, and glad that we are resuming back in towards the match already. Now, stuns are coming up towards the side of E1 as we are seeing more and more members invested in towards getting that turtle coming from the side of Todak. But look at Omega, they're responding really well. 3-man pushing inwards through the jungle, and they're trying to catch Chiku. Very greedy response coming from the side of Keith, and he gets punished for it.
This is not going to be good for Mr. Fundamental as Turtle goes over to Omega, and there you go, E1 trapping down one. Here, facing down against 4, Kenji will not survive. 4 Maze slays him. It's a 1-for-1.
Okay, I trade where, of course, you try to forsake 2 members for the side of the Turtle. Long-term late game that we're talking about.
Yep, actually, right, and the reason why it was also taken out, but again, note, ladies and gentlemen, his death timers are just lower.
Yeah. It's not going to be all too punishing at all, and Cortese has made a big purchase.
A Demon Hunter sword or a Golden Staff, and this one's ready to go.
Yeah. Later on, but judging for the fact that you can see Formy is also going with the Axis Wall, so they're going to be faring just about. Having Stu really holding himself well, but over on the side of E1, we have a fight.
Ooh, ejector into the backlines. Barely alive, but there's a flicker spent, and E1's still alive!
What? He's not supposed to stand after that.
Not enough to touche for both Todak and Omega.
Yeah, just click and respond. It's a little bit of push and pull going on for both sides, but you get to see how well Todak has. This is what we are in for, and trying to catch up, aiming for Moon.
More implosion, Cortese looking low. There you go, gonna dash in. Uses the 1-1 slain. That's the Imperial Justice catching no one. Yeli is taken out. 2-for-0 currently in favor of Todak, and they are gonna disengage. Omega says, let's Delta out of here. There's nothing for us.
Yeah. Now, coming from Omega to get so after that big fight.
Oh yeah, no. Todak definitely won that fight. They won the engagement, and they have secured their lead. I'd say maybe 1 point through and 5.
The side